If you'll stand for the invocation to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you've given us. Dear Lord, we come to you asking for special prayers for those in Brussels who have had their attacks this morning. We just pray that you be with all of those who have been affected and the leaders as they make decisions as to what to do next. Dear Lord, we ask that you be with us as we go before this meeting. May our actions, our words, and our thoughts be pleasing to you and at the same time be what is in the best interest of those who live here. We ask that you be with those who are here tonight, and as they leave from here, give them a safe trip home. And we pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, our first order of business will be to adopt the agenda. I don't think we have anything we need to add tonight, so I'm going to have a motion to adopt the agenda as written.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you. We have the minutes from the March 9th, 2016 regular meeting. We've had a chance to look over those. Are there any corrections or anything that needs to be noted on those?
One spell there on the second page, instead of cash, geocache, it's C-A-C-H-E. It's the only correction I saw.
Okay. Anything else? All right, there's no other. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move they be approved as presented.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. All right, we come time for our municipal comments, and we have Miss Virginia Hill from Greenville.
None that I know.
Well, your mayor's not here, so.
Yeah, but none that I know of.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have Mr. Tommy Johnson from the city of Woodbury. Do you have anything?
No, I don't. Just happy to be here.
All right, thank you for being here. All right, are there any other cities represented? Okay, we'll move on to our constitutional officers. Sheriff Smith, I believe you're it.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move right along to our department heads. We'll start right here with Ren.
I have nothing, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Ron?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Good.
Miss Jane?
I do.
Okay.
I'm here on behalf of King Meriwether the Beautiful.
Okay.
All of you have a litter bag. I hope you'll take it and put it in your vehicles. And I've heard people say, well, there's nowhere to put it anymore. Well, I found a solution to that. Go to Dollar General. They've got the little plastic hooks that stick on your dash. Put the little hook on there and it'll hold the litter bag. That's what I did in mine. So, no excuse. Use your litter bag.
There you go.
I've also got out in the foyer the registration forms for our Keep Meriwether Beautiful cleanup on April 23rd. There's also membership applications for those that want to join with us. We're already getting the word out about the teams. We're going to have a team effort to clean up. We want you to clean up around your home, but you can also go out on the right-of-ways and clean up the right-of-ways. We've got the Public Works Department working to bring the containers in, and this where they're going to be later on, I don't know right now. We've also got the Sheriff's Office is working every weekend, picking up a litter with his crew. We appreciate that. And we've already started getting registration forms back in with teams. We'll have awards to give away. We'll have certificates of appreciation for the team that has the most members, and the teams that pick up the most trash, and the number of bags, however many bags. We'll have a little form for you to return back to us so that we can honor those that really get out there and work. So the Girl Scouts wanted to get involved, and they are not allowed to pick up litter out on the streets and roads, but they wanted to do something. So over here on this wall is art that Troop 925, they did this Monday night, and we're going to make copies of this and put around in the convenience stores and any place, if you want some to put in your place of business, you're welcome to do it. They've got their first name on the back. This is just a sampling of it. I've got much more in the office. And one of them I'm going to make into a little thank you note that one of them did. He said, thank you for keeping our earth clean. And I write thank you notes to everybody that contributes to this effort. And as part of my thank you note, I'm going to incorporate his little thank you note. Her, not his, her. A thank you note. He's a Girl Scouts, not Boy Scouts. And this one right here on the end, help keep our city beautiful. It is so a nice picture that I'm going to try to frame it or do something with it. So we're getting the whole community involved, and we want all of you involved. You can have a team somewhere. A team can be 2 people. So I just want to, you're going to hear a lot about this between now and April 23rd. And then afterwards you'll hear the results. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joey, do you have anything?
That's a good time.
Okay. Bruce, do you have anything?
No, ma'am, I don't have anything, just
Okay. All right, are there any other department heads? All right. Miss Carolyn with Chamber, you have anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay, go ahead.
I got another job too, my real job. I got so excited about Keep Bear Weather Beautiful that I got a real job. I guess this is my real job too. But I did want to let you know, and they're not really ready to make a big announcement, but the Goodness Building has sold. It's a warehousing operation right now. Probably when they're in operation, they've got a lot to do to the building. They're hiring some electrical and plumbing contractors now. So once they get it in place, they'll have about 20 people. They're going to rent out the rest of the building for warehousing if they can. But they warehouse, let's see what I can, global track warehouses. I can't even read my own name. They manufacture in some of their operations the rubber tire. I didn't understand they say the tire, not the tires, but the rubber that goes into tires. I guess they shred up the tires and then recycle it and they make tires out of it.
Ooh, we can get on some tires.
But anyway, part of our cleanup will be tires. But they've just closed on the building. They're not really ready to publicize it yet. We'll let y'all know.
Okay, thank you.
Does that mean no?
No. Just for information. Until they get it. Right now, fear is because they will have some equipment out there, and there's no security out there right now.
Okay.
They just don't want to publicize that there's stuff going on there. And once they get it secured, then they're going to make a big announcement.
I'll keep it quiet.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, were there any other departments to make a report? And we do not have need for a public hearing, do we? Okay. All right, we do not have anything under old business. We'll move right along to new business. Jim and Alan Sibley Road Bridge.
Yes, that's me. I'm
You
walking
can come
on
up to
that.
the front.
Just want to know what we're going to do. 20 years going on now, we've managed to close the road and I have to walk on it. It's not right at all. And everybody in here's known it was coming. It comes every 2 years to inspect. They come inspected it, and now it's either unlock and lock, go through 3 different gates, or walk home. So I'm walking across the bridge a quarter mile of my house. And that anybody else in this county got to do this? Y'all got to do that? I do. Ambulance, fire trucks, they ain't gonna get to my house if something goes on. There ain't no way they're gonna get to there. And everybody can say what they want to. What's gonna happen now? I don't know when the date, something's gonna go on. Thurman and I've been talking about it. He can't give me a date.
Well,
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, of course, as Alan said correctly, this has been going on for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I think, though, Alan
It
will
didn't
also...
sneak up on us. This is
I
something that was known that was
understand.
gonna happen.
Well, you know, there again, this board and myself...
Some of these people were already here, and some of these people in
Let
this room were already
let
here.
him speak, okay?
Yeah, let me just tell you where we are with Alan. You know, I've called you. I've tried to keep
I
Unidad
know what
open.
you've said.
Understand that. Let me tell you what I've done today. Okay, since I talked with you guys this morning, I have called a gentleman who is very high up in the Georgia Department of Transportation. All right, he is going to have that bridge analyzed in the morning because I told him we got a problem there. He is going to see if it will be of sufficient capacity for him to be able to open it up where you don't have to walk home or go through those other gates, okay? It doesn't mean we can carry tractor trailer equipment about it, but it means that you'll be able to get
We
in.
got cows to feed
I
across that road.
understand.
I mean, it's
And I
just
think you
very-
can get through the other with that. I mean, we can't magically wave and the bridge be done. But let me tell you what else we're doing, okay? They have, CSX has kind of played us along with this. We met out there, and I don't think this is the first time that's happened. They talked about, well, we're going to do this. They even called me and said, we're going to fix that for you. Then the next thing I hear is, well, we're going to provide some materials. Well, we don't have really the ability to fix it. Next thing I'm hearing is, well, we're not going to do anything. And then I call them back and, well, we're gonna do this. But let me tell you what GDOT told me this afternoon, the GDOT official, and I'm not going to name his name because I don't want to put him on the spot. But he's going to research in the morning to see, and he believes they can be able to put a stop work order on anything, any future permits from CSX until they get on this issue and address this issue. And that means not in Meriwether County, but that means all over the state of Georgia.
But it's still, everybody knew this was coming, and I'm walking home today.
Yeah.
Because of this. My
Well,
dad dropped me off at the bridge and I walked home to
I
my
understand,
house.
but you also do have a key that allows you to be able to drive
You've
through.
got to
if you
pull up
want.
to a gate,
I
get out,
understand.
and I want it kept locked.
I understand.
Unlock it, drive through,
Yeah.
close it, lock it.
I understand.
And then I got cows, so I got to go through two more, do the same thing just to pull in the driveway.
I understand.
You know, that
I know it's
takes
an
20 minutes just to get
Yeah,
to the house.
I know it's an
Somebody-
inconvenience, but you know, I have some property, I do that very same thing. I get out, unlock it,
You
get
don't
back in.
have, I mean, this is my way into my house.
Yes.
We've lived there since the 20s, my family has. We shouldn't have to do this. This is ridiculous, y'all.
It's not like nothing has been done.
It has. It's
We-
been going on for 20 years. I've been fighting this council about this.
We have worked on it. We have to, we're at the, sort of
Well,
the
then why
mercy
doesn't
of
the county put the money out or
CSX.
stop the railroad from coming through our county?
We
They're
can't
not-
stop them.
Why
We
not?
cannot
I mean,
stop
if they were not fixing the infrastructure that they caused to be there, somebody's got to hold somebody accountable. And I don't have anybody but y'all to
And a
come to.
county cannot hold the
Well,
the
somebody
railroad
has to fix my
accountable.
bridge so I can get across it. And I don't
We
need to
are
pass it.
certainly
I need to
working on
get
it.
through there. And the public's going to know what's going on. It's been like hid under the rug. We didn't even know the bridge was going to be closed. I was out of town.
Yeah.
The road, my niece had a seizure over there on Friday. The ambulance couldn't have come through the back way and the concrete was already up on the front side. Because the bamboo was growing across the road. Nobody even thought about doing that. Georgia Power didn't have a way to read my meter. I had to get my mail changed to my shop in Woodbury. Y'all, there's all kinds of stuff that's, going on. It's not right for me to have to do this.
Yeah. Well, we are working very hard. We
But that
actually.
doesn't help me.
I know, but let me finish. Let me tell you where we're going with this thing. We have tried to help. We actually came out, made sure everybody had keys. I called you that day. As soon as we found out
We didn't know ahead of time either.
No, because I mean, it actually,
But we knew
GDOT had
it
already
comes
closed it
every
back in
2
the fall.
years. It comes every 2 years. We knew this date was coming
Well-
because they hid the sign last time
Yeah.
and tried to tell them it was not a public road where it was a public road.
Right.
Did that the last 2 times
Yeah.
until this came up.
Well, GDOT does reevaluate the bridges every 2 years.
That's right.
And but that doesn't mean they're going to close it. We don't know whether they'll close it or not till they get through. The bottom line is this: I have called CSX so much. When I call them, they answer and call me by my first name. So even in Jacksonville, I called Jacksonville today, I called Atlanta today. I'm as frustrated as Alan is.
The old board I went through,
Yeah.
Rays came, but they never got the road closed. Now I am walking home.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
That's not y'all's. Y'all aren't doing it. You want me to bring the concrete in front of y'all's driveway and drop it? I mean, that's what's happened to me. I come home from the trip and there's concrete in front of my road to get to my house. So it's not It's not right.
We are doing absolutely everything we can.
No,
We've
it's
made
not
more.
getting done. We need to
Okay.
get more done. We need to hold their feet to the fire
Yeah.
somehow to
I
get this
agree.
done.
Well, what we have is this. Again, I'm having the gentleman who is very high up in GDOT and deals with bridge structures is going to reevaluate that in the morning. That doesn't mean, again, we're going to be able to run transfer trucks, but what I'm hoping is we'll be able to leave it, move it, where you can cross, ingress, and
That's all I
egress.
want to do.
And then he's going to also check about this issue of holding those permits. I also have a meeting coming up in the very near future with a federal representative, and that's a topic that we're going to talk about from that perspective too. I told you what we're going to do is that we've tried to get them to work with us. If they don't want to work with us, we're going to continue to tighten that noose and bring it to bear.
I think you should have been just strung up by now.
Well,
this
I
is-
understand.
yeah, I mean, you can't get much worse than this right here.
We've not been working on it, any of these folks, for the
Some of
period
these
of time.
folks knew what was going on already. They
Knowing
were here
that the
before.
issue,
I've been in front of them before.
I understand, but they have asked me to work on this. Of all the projects we've dealt with, there's not a single project that I've made more telephone calls on than this one. And I've
And the
tried to
road
keep
is
you guys.
closed now.
I know. But you know
That's
what?
the
If I
problem.
could, if I had the magic to make CSX fix this just like that, it would already be
Well,
fixed.
I mean, I wouldn't do it.
Even GDOT told me when I was complaining to them last week, they said, yeah, well, good luck. We can't get them to do anything. And I think they're as
Somebody's got to
frustrated with
stand up to them, though.
well,
Somebody's got to stand up. The railroad's
Yeah.
not that big.
I understand.
Oh, they are.
They're pretty tough.
Yeah, but still,
Um,
somebody can
we
do
are.
something.
Yeah, you don't know me very well, but I'm relatively persistent.
Yeah, but
I try to be
still,
nice.
you're not walking
I
home
understand.
every
I understand.
night.
I understand.
So-
I'm gonna fix it, get it fixed where you don't have to walk home, and we're gonna continue to ramp that up. I will be in conversation with GDOT tomorrow. I'll be back in conversation. I want to talk to GDOT, and if they confirm that they can indeed hold these permits, my next call is gonna be to Jacksonville to talk to CSX. So we will work on that, and I will keep them informed every step along the way.
Okay.
And I've even gone out of the way. I even went to see the postal carrier or the postmaster to try to be sure that Allen was getting his mail. And so we will work on that, and I promise that we're going to get something done with it, okay? I'll keep you posted.
Thank you. All right, next on the new business is the resignation and appointment to the Water and Sewer Authority.
Yes, Madam Chairman, our Water and Sewer Authority Chairman, through another board member, had received a verbal resignation, Mr. Matthew Grantham, who was a member of the Water and Sewer Authority. Actually, Mr. Grantham had indicated to him that he was resigning from the board, and also I think he no longer lives in Meriwether County either. So, we're asking you guys tonight to accept the resignation and move forward with the consideration of appointment of a new member.
Okay, can we have a motion to accept the resignation of Mr. Grantham from the Water and Sewer Authority?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, Mr. Grantham was my appointment, and I do have somebody ready to appoint tonight. I'll give you just a little bit of information about him. His name is James Stevens, and he actually works with the City of Manchester Water Department now. He lives in Warm Springs, but he has, just give you a little background on him, he's had 27 years of experience, all of it with federal, county, or city governments. He has managed annual general operating budgets in excess of $14 million. He's experienced in capital project management with budgets anywhere from $1 million to $26 million. And the majority of his career was actually spent with the City of Columbus as their superintendent of water treatment. So I feel like he'll be a good addition to our board. He does live in our county, has made this his home, and like I said, he does work in the area too. And so I'd like to make a motion that we appoint James Stevens to the Water and Sewer Authority.
Second.
All right. Any other nominations? All in favor? All right, thank you. Resignation and appointment to the Recreation Advisory Board.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, Commissioners, Mayor Prater had actually sent us a letter of resignation, from the Recreation Advisory Board, and that's really due to just personal reasons. He's unable to make the meetings. I will say he's been a great member, been a very strong supporter, and before he ran into some of the issues that was prohibiting him from being there, he was there at every meeting. And he will really be missed, and we appreciate that. But we understand and know that that's in his best interest to do that. So what we would recommend is that you do accept his resignation. Thank him for all his support, and I think he, asked that you consider another appointment. So, and you guys have the information there, and so my recommendation would be that you accept the resignation and then consider an appointment either today or in the future for that position.
Here in this recommendation from Mr. Gay, we have a motion to accept the resignation of Mayor Bob Prater from the Recreation Advisory Board.
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor? And Mayor Prater had sent us someone that he mentioned for the position. If it's okay with the board, I'd like to table that to another meeting, though. I'd like to time to look over the recommendation there, unless somebody else has anything else they'd like to do on that position. Okay. Can we have a motion to table the appointment to the Recreation Board?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor? Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of advertisement and issuance of the RFP for the 2016 Lamig resurfacing project.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we went over this in detail. We'd have to answer any questions that you guys have in our work session. But we're moving forward to try to be able to move forward our paving program for this year. We want to get it done right away. Don't have the paper right in front of me, but I think it's like 11 miles, thank you, 11.05 miles of resurfacing, patching, leveling, and striping. We are in the process right now of determining the quantities that we have to include in the RFP. And in doing so, the only last piece of the puzzle we're missing, and Bruce and the staff are working on this, is measuring the patching areas, because we've got to calculate the the quantities for patching, leveling, asphalt, striping distances. We put that into the RFP, and therefore everybody is bidding on the same, information. We're asking for the approval. We don't have that quite finalized tonight, but I really want to do it. You guys don't have another meeting for a couple weeks. I really want to move this thing forward. So what we're asking is authority to move forward with completion of the RFP and advertisement of that, and we're going to have a pre-bid or work session where we can get everybody out and take a look at the project. So what we're just asking is that you guys allow us to move forward with that. And of course, the bids will come back to the board for approval, so nothing will be let until you guys have an opportunity to do that. And those bids will be back in May, and we'll present them back to you guys at one of your meetings in May. And this is more roads than what we've done in the past. Last year we did 3 roads. This is 12 roads.
12.
And we're using a different technique, and we think it's going to work very well. It's proven to be about 60% of the cost, and yet it's still a good program. So this allows us to be able to get that paving and rework the roads for our citizens. The bigger chunk we can bite off every year, the better we're going to be able to.
Right at $1 million.
That's right. And we got 500 of that is from GDOT. So that's our recommendation, is that y'all allow us to move forward with advertisements and finishing those RFPs and send those out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, here in this recommendation from Mr. Gay, what's your pleasure?
I move that we go forward with the issuance of the RFP for the Lamig resurfacing.
Okay, we have a second.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? All right, thank you. Next is the application to GDOT for the Lamig striping program.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, Commissioners, this year GDOT had an additional Lamig that they have not had in the past, and it is restricted and limited to striping and other safety issues. Back in the wintertime, I know one of the biggest issues we got was at night, and people driving, they can't see the roads. It's a real issue. So we received a lot of requests for striping. Well, we're ready to move forward with the delivery of that. The last time we did striping, we did about 80 miles. This time, I believe, based upon what we have to be able to contribute and the fact that GDOT at least has indicated they'll be willing to give more dollars toward this, I think we're going to be able to bump that to maybe 120 or so miles of striping. And this makes the road so much safer than what we're experiencing. And it will be, again, one of those, we've got until May to present this to GDOT, but I'd really rather go ahead and get it done. That way we can get our response back, and we can go ahead and we'll prepare a bid for this with an RFP very similar to our paving project, and we will let this as a project later on in the summer. So my recommendation would be to allow us to complete that list, authorize the chairman to sign that application for the LMIG, and we'll move forward with our striping program. Also, I asked that if anyone has other roads that they want to add to this list, let me know. We'll add those. We'll get a distance on it. We can calculate a mileage. I've also talked to Bruce, and he and Tyrell are also going to look at other roads that they would recommend as well. So some of the roads that may be slated for paving next year, we may not stripe, or we may just put a center line on if it's a dangerous situation, but because when we resurface it in the near future, that will go away. So the roads that we just let, or talk about letting on the resurfacing will be painted as part of that program. But we're seeking more roads, so if any of you guys have gotten calls on a particular road, we'll add that to the list and we'll move forward. And so our recommendation is to allow us to complete this LMIG list, authorize the chairman to sign it, and we'll submit it to GDOT.
Okay, can we have a motion to allow them to proceed with the application and to allow the chairman to sign it when it is done? So moved. Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Request for utilization of the Woodbury Gym for summer day camp program.
Chairman, Commissioners, Ms. Beverly Ball has contacted us some time ago about running a summer day camp program. She runs one at Luthersville already, and I think it's like incredibly successful. And she has asked about the ability to be able to run one at the Woodbury gym as well. She has already received approval from the Board of Education for use of the school. And this day camp is it's both an educational and a sports related. So, you keep their attention with the sports and you get their attendance, but you also use an opportunity to do a lot of educational opportunities over the summertime as well. And so she's talked about that. She is looking at days in, pull back the information here. She's looking at days in June and in July to be able to do this. June the 7th through the 28th will be the K through 6th grade, and then July the 5th through the 7th will be 7th and 12th grade. And they're going to run it Tuesday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. That will not interfere with anything we have going in terms of recreation. Our recreation department is proposing a ladies basketball league, and they've had a lot of interest in that, but this will not interfere with that whatsoever. We think it'll bring a tremendous asset to the children of that area, and of course, they're all invited to attend. The biggest thing is obstacle is being sure they get enough volunteers. That's going to be a big thing for them. To give you an idea of what they serve, right now, last year they served 92 students in Luthersville. And of course, I would anticipate if we get the volunteers, we will serve something very similar here. So she is going to provide us with a 501c3 information to show that they're tax-exempt organization and nonprofit. She's going to provide us with the other documents we'll need to be able to allow that usage, insurance coverages, all of those things. I'll go over those with Susan. I was hoping to have them for you tonight, but we don't have them quite ready. But what we would like to do is to be able to authorize her to be able to move forward and know when she'll have those dates available. And then we'll bring the paperwork back up when she gets that to us.
Okay. All right, here in this recommendation, do we have a motion to allow Ms. Ball to use the Woodbury Gym for the summer day camp?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? It'll certainly be an asset.
Yeah, she was just incredibly impressive with what she's trying to do and her enthusiasm for the program. So
she's done a good job.
She has.
All right, next is consideration of engineering services related to flood damage.
Chairman, Commissioners, we talked about this again. FEMA and GEMA are coming into our county They are moving toward helping us be able to replace a lot of the roads and drainage structures that were washed out during the floods of December and January. And part of that's going to be being able to consider what they call hazard mitigation. And that is upgrading the structures to a point where if they fail because they weren't able to carry the volume of water, they'll fail again. So we want to look at upgrading those where we don't have to deal with this in the future. I'll give you a good example. There's a nearby county that they had 2 roads that washed out during this last issue. And one of those, they were going to replace the pipe anyway. In fact, they already had the pipe on site. The reason they didn't have any more problems is they've had problems in the past, and those drainage structures were upgraded as part of hazard mitigation. So the process worked. This time around, they had 2 roads closed, and that was all during the whole flood. So it's a good program. But to get to that point, we've got to have engineering services to be able to do flood analysis, produce an estimate of what it would take to put it back just like it was, and then an estimate of what it's going to take to be able to upgrade it. And in order to do that, we're going to need engineering services. We had called and an engineering group that's done a lot of work in the area, CHA, actually came down at no cost to the county, looked at it, give us an analysis of what like Montgomery Road would take. And we would like to be able to engage them to help us with this. We've got 60 days to be able to produce this information for FEMA to be able to move forward with it. So that means we really need to hit the ground running right away. I think FEMA's coming back next Monday, and we're going to talk some more. And I ran in, he stopped by to see me the other day. I ran into the gentleman at CHA, and I told him, I said, when we get this done and we engage you guys, I would like to have your engineers here when we go out and look at these projects, particularly the big projects, where he'll understand exactly what we need. So my recommendation is that we move forward with an engagement, and I'll bring this back to you guys in form of paper, but we're going to need some engineering services. So my recommendation is to use CHA to move forward with our engineering services for construction.
I'm hearing this recommendation. What is the pleasure of the board?
I move that we move forward with the recommended engineering service.
We have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Next, consideration for purchase of road construction equipment.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, again, we went over this in the work session. We've been looking. We've got in the and Bill left us a copy. Within our SPLOST funds, we have dollars that are vested, that are in hand. And it indicates that we can use this for building renovation, roads, public works equipment, etc. I know there's been some talk of paving, but we've covered all of the issues that involve paving and the issue that we are going to have a hard time just being able to staff and manage that. So considering that, when Bruce and I had talked, and Bill, we suggested that we go back and look at some equipment that would better serve Meriwether County on maintaining our roads. And that would include not only our paved roads, but also our dirt roads as well. And in doing so, we've gone out and sought some bids. We're looking at a compact track loader, and some of you know that as a bobcat or a skid steer, various names. We have got a proposal from Yancey, who sells Caterpillar, for a 289D. It is a used piece of equipment, but it only has like 500 and something hours on it, so it's almost brand new. The proposal on that and the price and bid we received from them was $52,000. We also got 2 bids from United Rentals for skid steer. One was their model TL10, the other was a TL12, but they run $58,800 and $70,800. And I'm not sure, I'm not really familiar with this brand, but I am familiar with Caterpillar, and I know you can get those repaired at anywhere, anytime. Plus the resale value, if you ever wanted to trade it, It'll be very high on a Caterpillar. So my recommendation on the compact track loader would be to accept the bid from Yancey at $52,000. And we can cover these dollars out of our SPOS funds that is dedicated toward public works equipment.
Are we going to do this individually?
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to do each one.
We do each one.
Okay. All right, hearing the recommendation about the compact track loader, they recommend that we purchase the used one for $52,000. Can we have a motion regarding that, please?
I move for the Caterpillar at $52,000.
Can we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question. How much does a new one cost?
Bruce, new one, Caterpillar?
It's anywhere from, depending on what you get on it, anywhere from 95 to 110,000. Basically half price. And it's only got 500 some miles on it. I got all the pictures on if you like to view it.
Sorry, I wasn't here for the work session.
You're busy. I think it comes with a warranty as well, so,
This one
good
does.
piece of equipment.
This comes with one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And the attachment, right?
And it has the scoop.
And the attachment.
We're going to be using it.
And you can add more attachments to this in the future, and we may bring back if there's something we need, but at least in the meantime, we'll have this. Has an extended arm where we'll be able to take material and put it into the dump truck too.
So they're throwing out a trailer too, right?
Yeah. You can put it on a trailer too. That's right.
Or they throw it
Throw in
out.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I actually saw an advertisement last night where they were trying to get you to sell the trailer too, and the cooler and all this other stuff, but yeah, we probably got that. But another thing with this is you can tow this equipment. You don't have to have a big truck to tow it. You can tow it with probably a 3/4 ton or 1 ton truck. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? All right.
Okay.
All right, next, please.
The next issue is what they call a mini excavator, a hydraulic excavator. Again, this is a piece of equipment that we can use. It can be used to clean out ditches. It can be used to do road patching. It allows you with a ditch, instead of, as Bruce was explaining, you have to have the backhoe back up and
You have a
cross.
picture of it down there, 'cause we didn't have
Yeah,
one of it.
we did.
You had it on the screen
I
earlier.
think, yes.
We
You had on the screen?
got
It's
one.
looking for it.
Well, not a good picture of that.
Madam Chair, isn't that the one that we had?
Yeah, we had one on the screen.
Yeah, we had one on the
Yep.
screen
It
earlier.
ended up now.
Skip's going to get it back up. And this is a piece of equipment that has tracks. You can put it in the road in one lane. You can go down the road and you can dig without having to reposition to get over the other lane. It can help us with patching. As we talked about earlier, one of the most expensive things of resurfacing is patching. If we can get ahead and do some of that ourselves, we can even expand our paving dollars even further in the future. So we received a proposal and a bid for this piece of equipment from Yancey. It is a 305E hydraulic excavator. It is a 2013 model, but only has 1,275 hours of operation. We had a bid from them for $44,820, and we also had one again from United Rental. It was they had two models, a TB260 and a TB290. One was 63.4 and one was 83.3. So again, our recommendation would be that we purchase this from Yancey, used equipment. Bruce has reviewed it, it's in good shape, and we purchased it from Yancey for $44,820.
All right, hearing this recommendation, what's your pleasure?
I move that we buy the mini excavator from Yancey.
Okay, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Last thing I have is the backhoe. We had a backhoe that was stolen, and it is a very vital piece of equipment. And we've been searching for one since that was stolen. You cannot find a piece of used equipment that would be really worth having. We wanted one that was comparable to what we had, but you just can't find them right now. They're in a lot of demand. It's a good time of the year to need them. That's why we need one very badly too. And so you just can't find them. Everybody says, well, we think we got one in 2 weeks, but 2 weeks turns into 2 months and you just can't get them. So with that in mind, and the emergency nature of needing this, because that's a vital piece of equipment, We did seek a proposal on a new piece of equipment because that's the only one we can find that's readily available. And it is a 420 F2 backhoe. The cost on that is $108,010. And we actually received $64,000, a little bit over $64,000 in the insurance proceeds for that. So we'll be able to invest the balance, which is probably 40-something, and have a new backhoe, which should serve the county for, Bruce, what, 20 years?
Yes.
And
Maintained right, there's no reason.
right. And so, great piece of equipment. Again, being Caterpillar, you're always going to have a good trade-in value if you ever need it. I mean, I think that was exhibited in our insurance. We actually paid us more than we had it listed for because it's a good piece of equipment. So, considering the emergency nature of that, we do recommend that we move forward with that. We'll use the insurance proceeds. We'll use our dollars. Even with buying these 3 pieces of equipment, we're still going to have, not counting the insurance proceeds, we're still going to have $200,000 worth of equipment budget remaining. We may come back and talk to the board about some more needed equipment, but this should really get us started on the way to being able to do a lot of work.
Just a quick question, Madam Chair, if you don't mind. The $64,000 you're going to take out of the general fund will only be taking $44,000 out of our splash.
So it will leave us in actuality about $240,000.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion regarding the backhoe, purchase of the backhoe.
I move we purchase the backhoe new, $108,000.
We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
That's definitely much needed, and, certainly is a shame that the other one was stolen. And I know you hate to have to haul it back to Public Works every time, but with this equipment out there, we're gonna have to do something. I mean, because
We've talked about some
we may get a little
other
bit back from
safety
insurance, but
devices.
we're still having to pay out another $44,000. So I don't know what our answer is gonna be, but we got so many rural areas and.
Madam Chairman, may I make a suggestion on this new equipment that we're purchasing, replace GPS units in them?
Well, I was wondering about, I did wonder about that.
We've talked about
Many
that.
of stolen merchandise and equipment have been recovered because somebody put a GPS,
I think probably something worth looking into.
Absolutely.
We don't have the money to keep purchasing it
they're
again.
not very expensive.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Bill had to leave, but before he did, he gave us our financial report. I don't know if Mr. Gay has comments to make on it, or?
Bill and I talked just very briefly. He wanted to point out that the general fund balance is still very strong, and that is great, and I think everything else is going well. We're still looking at the landfill closure monies that we have on hand. We're going to try to review and work with the state on that to see if we can free up some of those dollars. The landfill has consistently been very clean. Everything is with methane, but there's going to be methane. And everything's been contained within our site. So we don't think it's going to take the amount of dollars that are initially set to be able to address any issues there. So if we don't, we're going to petition to be able to recapture some of that dollars and put it back into the county coffers where we can use that money. We want to use it for the citizens, not have it just sit in a bank account for, and never be used. So,
What do you think they would make us keep in escrow?
what I would want to do is to get, our auditors, I think, have already addressed what they feel it would be. And I would want to get our auditors and Advanced Environmental to work together. And I've already talked to Darrell Webb, and he is looking into this for us. So once we get a determination from them, and let's just say, for example, it's 6, and we'll move to try to free up those additional dollars for the county's use.
Okay. Madam Chair, I have a question about that. I think there's a lot of things that you have to consider on the closure, the length of time that determines how much needs to be kept in that account. Do you know?
Yes, ma'am, and if you have, it does, because it's really to be able to be sure you have the financial assurance to close it out. And if we were having issues that were migrating off the site, I'd say, well, we probably don't need to talk about it. But it's been very clear. The county owns the property that is surrounding it, and I just don't think you'll have that many issues with it. I don't think it's going to cost that much. It's been there and been closed for quite a while. as long as we maintain it, you know. And there again, we can, you know, if we get to a point where we feel like we need to bump that a little, we could budget a little bit every year and build it back up, offset it. But at least it would free up the dollars a little bit. Okay.
Thank you.
Now we have a report from Mr. Gay.
Yes, ma'am. Want to let you guys know when the water and sewer bonds, the validation order was completed on Monday. Have not had a chance to catch up with emails, but they're looking at marketing those bonds. Everything seems to be going very well with that. And that is, again, a big hit. I want to compliment you guys on taking the lead on that and getting that done along with the Water and Sewer Authority. I think as we talked before, it saved about $800,000. Plus it reduced that debt service from 1.12 million to about 800,000, which is a much more manageable figure for the Water and Sewer Authority. So very good deal. Took a little while to do, but again, appreciate y'all's leadership on getting that done. Want to give you an update on Animal Shelter Edition and the other projects. I talked earlier this week with Preston Nixon from the Department of Corrections. He is going to be coming down within the next couple of weeks, meeting with us, and they're getting ready to move their forces in. They have to actually make arrangements for the inmates to be housed, so they're going through that right now. And and Bruce, they even said they may be moving some equipment trailers in within the next week to 10 days. Then he's got a grading crew that's in Thomaston right now. When they finish in Thomaston, they're coming here to grade our shotgun range, and so that'll save Bruce and his staff from having to deal with that. They have so many other things going on, so that is you know, a good thing. Also, just a report. I know we have a person who is very close to the animal shelter. They do you know, donations to us. We did, and I'll make you guys a copy of the letter, but they don't like to have any publicity. But they were very complimentary on the shelter and things that are going. They've already approved some dollars for us for the second quarter, and we're real complimentary of what's going on. When we get the new addition there, it's going to be even better. So
did we get those blueprints to the individuals to see?
We did. I personally sent those. And I signed it as with your name. I told them they asked me to ask you to sit. I attended Lone Oak Community Meeting the other evening. Very good meeting. Enjoyed that. Had a good time. Good food. And they promised me if I come back, they'll have some German chocolate cakes. That's a sure thing that I'll be back. Again, we met with FEMA and GMA. I think I've covered that with you guys already on storm damage. They're coming back next week. We're working with the cities to help identify any damage they have. Courthouse wall project, I talked back with Tyler Peak at GDOT about that to see where that project stood. And he tells me it's in Atlanta. They've got everything done. It's been submitted. As soon as it comes back from Atlanta with the check and the okay, they'll proceed with you know, letting that project. So and I'll keep you guys updated on that. We also have received notice that the third bus for our bus program, we'd made application for that some time ago. I understand it's been ordered. Now I don't know exactly. I'll try to find a time frame for you guys, but that will be coming in the near future. And along with that, we probably need to sit down and discuss the use of those buses, maybe with doctor's appointments that are not necessarily here in Meriwether County. But that's a discussion for another day. But I do want you guys to know that the third bus has been
there, and I don't mean to interrupt you. I know it's your report, but I do want to let you know that since I'm on the Board of Health also, there was a discussion that a lot of moms and were missing their appointments because of no transportation. So I did advise them they were not even aware of the bus situation. So they're going to find funds in their own way to help those mothers get to the appointments that they need to keep up on with.
I think the third bus will give some flexibility in then, but we also need, when we look at that, we're going to need to limit the distance because we don't want people going to Florida on it. And and we also need to limit the reason. Because Beverly and I received some calls for what I would consider not really a legitimate reason. It was more of a taxi issue than it was anything else. But if there's doctor's appointments, things of that nature, you know, we might be able to provide even more service. So we'll come back and talk about that. And I'm Chairman Commissioners, that's what I have for my report tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now comes time to report from our county commissioners. Commissioner Threadgill,
I don't have anything in this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Plant.
Mine is ongoing theme, is trash and roads. But I will say this, being in training last week in Tifton and recognizing that we have two very good leaders in our county, Ms. Jane Pryor, very highly thought of, as far south as Tifton, and then Mr. Gay. So it pleases me that we've got such great leadership in this county. And even with the roads, the situations that we have, and we're working on them. And I think if we can get it in the paper, especially on how long it's going to take on our contracts and all, get that information out, because that is a concern, people that missing those access on the King, especially King Road. But
I'll get Mr. Johnny and we'll get him all that information that we provided.
And I would just encourage everybody to adopt roads, whether locally or mile or groups or individually. And then I guess the other thing is, how do they need to call the county on picking up the trash?
Yes, ma'am. They just call public works. We'll try to work on it. All I need to know is the dates and the road number.
They turn in their forms to Jane, and Jane's gonna have a list of the roads they're doing too.
Right.
We will advertise where the containers are going to be placed. If they want to bring them there, they can. If they can't get it to them, they will leave it on the side of the road. We're using orange bags so that they can be identified as the pickup bags. They will call us, Bruce's crew, to go pick them up on the Monday.
And then I guess the last part of that, picking up or cleaning up in the county, and Sheriff, you may want to address this. If it's anything that needs to be, 911 needs to be notified of, do you want to elaborate on any of that? If it's anything that could be considered, I mean, we did have in the newspaper where we found a body part.
Firearms, remnants of firearms, cash registers, anything that could be taken by hand, just thrown out the window. Most emphasis would be on firearms or remnants of firearms. Call 911. We need to take control of that.
But don't disturb it, right?
Don't touch it. Let us touch it.
Okay. Just for clarity for everybody, so.
Mr. Rosen, Ms. Plant.
Excuse me?
A guy called you, a guy called me on Keith Road.
Yes, sir.
20 bags have been picked up on Keith Road, on the Grange Highway. Mr. Charles Freer.
F-R-E-A-R, and he has indicated he'll be at our next Keep Meriwether Beautiful
He's
meeting.
got 20 bags picked up right now.
That's correct.
Contact information. Be sure to contact.
And tires. And he indicated tires also.
And I forgot to say also that everybody that does have a tent, we will supply the bags, the gloves, and we hope we'll have t-shirts, yellow t-shirts, I believe, to be, so they can be identified.
One last thing in this discussion and all, there's a belief, or general belief, that we need to go to some type of countywide trash pickup. Apparently people do not want to invest in that amount every month for garbage pickup. So I'll put it out on the table that maybe as a county we need to, and I know in talking with other counties, it's automatically billed in your property tax. And at some point, if we can't control the trash, and you know that there are people who are doing this habitually, that it may have to become part of the tax bill.
It works.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
It seems like what we're doing here is trying to clean up after the fact, after somebody's trashed the roads. What is being done to prevent it or keeping people from throwing trash to begin with? And what can I do as a citizen if I see somebody doing it?
Well, first of all, if you see somebody doing it, if you know who it is, or you get their license number, you turn it in, Ron's office will cite them. They'll go before the judge, and the judges are already working with us to fine them to their maximum that they can. We've already done some. As far as educating people, that's all a part of our Keep Meriwether Beautiful. We're going into the schools, we're going to civic groups, and we're just starting this. So it's going to take some time, but it's just getting the word out. You got to start when they're young. And so it's going to be a long process, but we are going to try to reach out to people and just try to teach them, you know. Like I said, we got these little bags. I know Jane had passed them around. You know, it doesn't hold a lot, but I mean, you know, most of those, that's some.
Some people just don't think, and you see stuff just coming out of the window.
You're right, you're exactly right.
Most average citizens will not stop them or call them, and probably shouldn't. So my question is, if you stop these people to start with, if you get a speed ticket coming through Greenville, you probably slow down next time.
That's right.
And the same thing will happen with this trash.
That's what we're hoping.
Don't physically stop them yourself, just get their information.
Yeah, get their information and pass it on and let the authorities take care of them.
You don't want to mention we're using chemicals too. Okay.
That's it.
Mention that then.
Well, I know we've already talked about the Keep Meriwether Beautiful. That is a project that I'm very excited about. And I just want to say in the last week, every single person I've mentioned it to has wanted to get on board. I've given forms for teams to be created, got some committed to donations, because we have to have money to do it. And the people that are on the board for Keep Meriwether Beautiful are making a commitment to make a donation, but then we're also asking for individuals, businesses, whatever, so we can continue. And the county has put money into it as well as the IDA. So do get on board with us. Let's make this first cleanup day a huge success and see if we can't make a difference, because anybody you talk to, they'll say trash is such an issue. And it's not just our people dumping it. We do have people coming from out of county and dumping in some of our rural areas, and hopefully we're gonna stop that as well.
Pick up the information as you go out the doors here.
Yeah.
County Line Church.
Just one other thing I want to mention, especially those of you who've been coming to our meetings for a long time, you know very well that we've had quite a number of issues and things to address, and certainly it does not get addressed and done overnight. But if you sit here and listen to all the things that Mr. Gay has talked about, that he and the rest of the staff has done, they have covered a tremendous amount of ground in a relatively short period of time. So I just want to express my appreciation to Theron and to those that work with him in our office here, our department heads. None of this would be possible if it wasn't for their dedication to Meriwether County and to their jobs. But we're getting some things done, not as quick as we may like to sometime, but things are being completed. We're getting to move on. When is the last time we have bought a piece of equipment for Public Works? We talked a while ago, our newest dump truck wrecked, and my gosh, how old did you say it was? I mean, I couldn't believe that was our newest one. You know, so I mean, we're making some steps slowly but surely to get the county where it needs to be. And like I said, we've had, the flood was very much unexpected, nothing that we could do about it, and that is costing us was going to cost us a tremendous amount of money until FEMA has stepped in, and thank goodness that will help us cover some of those costs. But thank you to you, to Beverly, Bill, everybody else in the department heads for keeping everything going for us. Commissioner McCoy?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Just to echo what you said, we're going to be resurfacing 11 miles this year. I think, as Bruce said, that's pretty much a record for us. We've never done as many as 11 miles. And something I know you hear us speak a lot about the firing range and the animal shelter. Just for your own edification, this is private funds, donated funds that's doing this type stuff. This is not affecting the general fund at all. And so I want to just make that point clear as I listen here. I think it's great that we've got contributors out there that are willing to do that kind of service. You mentioned earlier the FEMA meeting. I was here for that meeting, and it was quite interesting to watch Mr. Gay in action. He actually parlayed that fund up to $4 million for this county. I was in awe. I think several of us looked at each other. We could not believe he was able to extract that kind of funding for this county. So we appreciate that. You certainly did a good job with that. Last night I was privileged with Mr. Gay and with Chris and Chief Alphonse to visit with the Woodbury Council. And I think that was quite interesting. We took some information, but I think we came back with more than we took. And folks, there's a lot of good things going on all around this county. Good things going on in Woodbury. It's just amazing. We don't get it all. Somehow we don't capture it all, but it's out there and it's being done. And just thanks to those people that are doing that type of work. I think that's all I have. Just thank y'all for being here.
Commissioner Hines?
Madam Chair, once again, everybody's mentioned trash, but we are headed in the right direction with Keep Meriwether Beautiful, and just excited about that program. I also want to thank the sheriff for the work that he did maybe a week ago on Gold Mine Road and on Forest Road, and those who were giving community service to pick up. I think altogether it was close to 50 bags. That, excuse me. That's on one weekend. So that just, it's amazing the amount of trash that's in our county. And so we do have to get ahead of this. And so for the community as a whole, if you have a community group or your faith-based, your church, or you're in a civic group, if you're needing someone to come and talk about Keep Meriwether Beautiful, please get in contact with Ms. Jane to let her know. I took pictures of those orange bags and I posted on the Facebook page, and it was amazing the number of people who commented on it. But you know, we've got to, as Mississippi said, how do we get ahead of this? It's educating those to understand the importance of it, and so that we can get ahead of this, and hopefully those will realize that it's not a good thing to trash our county. The other thing I want to mention, I had this past week, I was in Tifton for a training that the ACCG asked of us as commissioners, and I'm proud to say I finished my last class. And I'm also proud to say that this board, and I think Ms. Plant only has one class to take, and so I don't know if this is true or not, but I do believe this is the first time that Meriwether County Board of Commissioners will be certified. So I applaud not only myself for finishing, but to the so that's a big step for this, because you know, a lot of people say, well, why? It's good to find out what are the new things that are going on, the new mandates, how things are changing constantly. And in order for us to be effective leaders, we too have to learn and embrace the new things that are out there. So once again, I applaud this board to take forth this effort to be a bridge so that we can make good decisions that will affect the county.
You know that extra money they promise you for the minute, it's late in coming.
Is that all, Commissioner? Yeah, that's all right. We have a report from our county attorney.
I don't really have anything. There is a need for a very brief executive session to discuss some legal issues.
Legal? Okay. Any other need for executive session? Anybody? Okay. We come to the point in our meeting where we have comments from the public. If anybody would like to say anything, you can come to the podium here and sign in. I believe Mr. Mix, you had already signed up. If you'll just give us your name, come up there and we'll give you 3 minutes to speak.
Jane, I found my pen. It's littering your floor up here. Madam Commissioner, Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to be here tonight, giving this forum. My name is Richard Mix. I am a candidate for U.S. Congress. I live in Noonan. Over the course of the 7 weeks that I've been in this race, which is a very short race, incidentally, because nobody knew that Congressman Westmoreland was not going to be re-seeking office, so we've got a very short time frame. I've reached out to many people in this room via email and phone calls, many of which I've spoken to. If I haven't got to you yet, it's probably because I don't have your right email address, or I just hadn't quite got there yet, but I'm trying to reach out to as many people as I can. And I won't bore you with my biography and my qualifications, but I wasn't born in Georgia, but I got here as quick as I could. I've lived here since I was 4 years old. I grew up in West Cobb. I went to the University of Georgia. I graduated from University of Georgia and went to work in the beverage industry, where I worked for about 8 years. I left there, went to work for Dun & Bradstreet, and then decided it was time to go start my own business. And I got involved in, I've started over the course of the 25 years I guess I've had my own business. I've started, owned and operated 4 different businesses, all of which are still operating today. So I'm really proud of that fact. I've created a lot of jobs. I am not a politician. I had no visions of ever running for a political office in my life until this opportunity presented itself, and I was encouraged by a number of people. And after a lot of soul searching, praying, and hitting my head against a rock a few times, I finally decided to jump in there. It's evident that things need to change in this country, and I'm hoping I can be a big part of that. I certainly don't profess that I know all the issues or that I'm going to say I'm going to go to Washington, D.C. and fix all the problems we have. This is a great district, and Meriwether County lies right in the heart of it. This is the heart of this district. And I think that's one thing that makes the 3rd District very special, is that we have the rural parts, the southern part of Atlanta, and then we have the urban parts of the southern part of Atlanta. We have the rural parts out here that are beautiful, and preserving the rural heritage is something that is a very big part of my agenda. I am a member and have been a member of Georgia Farm Bureau. I was on the board to Keep Carroll Beautiful, so I served on the state board for several years with Keep Carroll Beautiful. Very familiar with the process you're starting here, which is very exciting. And I will try to see if I can get some people from my campaign to come there and help out with the cleanup. I think that's a great thing.
Good deal.
I also get a lot of support from the cattlemen's and stuff like that. So I won't elaborate on all that's on my website, my Facebook page. I will say that if I'm fortunate enough to be representative of, my wife and I incidentally own Full Circle Toys. I don't know if any of you have been in there in downtown Noonan. It's a vintage toy store. We've been there for 8 years. We've lived in Noonan for 5 years. I keep ticking south. I went from Cobb County to Carroll County to Coweta County. I'll probably be down here in a few years. But if I'm fortunate enough to get elected to this position, I think I have a great chance to do so. You will see a lot of me. I'm pledging accessibility, because I think that's one thing we've lost with the politicians we have in office across this country. My cell phone number is on my website. It's on my Facebook page. It's on my business cards. I want to hear from people. I want to talk to people, and I'll have some cards here available for anybody in the room who'd like to take one, to call me and tell me what the issues and concerns are, so that I can educate myself and best serve the people of this district. So I thank you for this opportunity, and please go to my Facebook page. Please go to my website. Please take an opportunity to get to know me. If you support another candidate, I hope I can at least earn the respect to be your second choice, and we'll go from there. So thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else who wanted to speak tonight?
My name is Alexa, and every time I come to this commission meeting, I hear about roads. But I don't think y'all been down on my road yet. Leroy Robinson Road. I would appreciate if you would come down there. I pay taxes. I may not pay as much as you do, but I still pay taxes. And I think the last time I was in Mr. Gay, I think you took my name and address and all that down, but I ain't seen you down there yet. Thank you.
Okay, I've been.
I think y'all both been, haven't you?
I think so.
Not much here.
Madam Chair, I do want to make one more comment. Getting back to CSX, since seeing Mr. Gay has truly done his due diligence and we keep hitting the wall on that, he's contacted people in Jacksonville and also contacted the Department of Transportation. I'd like to make a suggestion that we reach out to some of our elected officials, like Mayor Westmoreland.
He is Thursday.
Okay. You know, sometimes we get a different perspective on things, so some of our other representatives, maybe, sometimes that may be another little edge.
That's right. Okay, we're gonna start that process. It's a topic of discussion Thursday.
Okay. I just wanted to bring that to the table.
We appreciate it.
Okay, is there anyone else who wanted to speak? Yes, ma'am.
I forgot something. Our Meriwether County Industrial Development Authority planning session is April the 11th from 1 to 5 here in this room. And I would like for as many of the
As soon as you said that, they understand.
No, thank you. Yeah, that was.
Meeting.
Okay, all right. Okay, is anyone else who would,
Item 7, this was a
anybody else who'd like to speak? All right, we do have to go into executive session, but let me just announce our future meetings. April 13th at 9 a.m. will be a regular meeting. April 22nd at 6 p.m. will be a regular meeting as well. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
At 7:10. Have a second?
second.
All in favor? Okay, we're in executive session.